Hello everyone, it's Mislav from Dual Core Studio, and today we begin with little series about projectiles in pixel art. So Frosty Bacon asked for this kind of video, and since projectiles in pixel art or in animation in general, it's really huge topic, so I won't be covering this in only one video. I'm gonna make few videos about this, and in first one I'm gonna show you few tips and tricks how to make and animate an arrow and a few different arrows, so how they travel and when they hit how they may behave. It all depends on you. So let's jump into it. This video also, I won't be doing the classic thing like I usually do, where I take one thing, I draw it from beginning, and that's it, because it would take too long, or my video would be like half an hour to an hour long. So what I did, I just took and prepared a few things so you can listen to me as I show you what happens on the screen. In first row we have basic arrow with metal tip, or even depending how you can see it, it can be even stone tip, but it's actually metal. Okay. In the second row we have fire arrow. In third row I have the basic arrow of metal hitting like a wall, or maybe even a shield. And in the last row I have fire arrow exploding when it hits something. So before you animate anything, you need to have your basic shape, or actually your projectile. This is actually our basic projectile, so to speak, basic template for arrow, at least it's mine. And what I have here is arrow, which is, its wood is actually 4 pixels tall. Top pixels is covered in light tone, so where the light hits from top to bottom, and on the bottom side I have shadow. On the back I have feathers. In this case they are colored in blue and black color, and at the front I leave this space blank so I can make the tip of the arrow whatever I want to. It can be fire, it can be metal, it can be like magic or a hook, whatever you want to do. Okay, so to show you this animation, first one, I'm gonna turn on the animation screen over here so you can watch it as it moves forward, and I explain how to do this. So this is how it moves. At the back you have feathers. Since our arrow is moving to the left, you need to take into account the wind that will hit your arrow as your arrow travels, well, through the wind. So I just made few pixels move down, back up, and even more up, so to speak. So it creates this illusion like flapping wings. Okay, so next thing I have is reflection at the tip of the arrow. I'm gonna slow down this bit. I basically took just lighter tones and moved them 1 pixel at a time from the tip of the arrow to the middle of arrow. So you can see them like here. They are here, then move 1 pixel and they spread apart as the arrow tip goes. They move 1 pixel again, and then 1 pixel again. And with that you can create simple reflection on your tip of the arrow. So that's the first one. Let's skip to when this arrow travels and it hits something, it breaks apart. So let me make a bit of background color so you can see how it looks. So when it hits, it breaks apart. What I did here is basically took this arrow, first one, and pulled apart pixels. So if, for example, I were to put them together again, I can basically make my arrow whole. See? Even at this tip also. So I just took my arrow and broke it apart a bit, okay? And then on the second frame, I took those parts and pulled them apart even further. And on the last two frames, I just moved those parts down, since gravity would pull them apart, and of course for them to hit the ground. So pull apart, and that's it. I even added one effect, so when it hits, it's just a simple light reflection when it hits something. Or this will look like this, if you can see. And last one on the list is fire arrow. Actual second and the last one. So the back is the same. I just changed blue color to red since it's easier to recognize for the arrow tip. In this case, it's fire. And fire is actually really chaotic. It does have its features, so you can learn to animate fire, but it's sometimes really random. I can make a separate video on how to animate fire specifically, but for now I'm gonna leave it as it is. So for my tip, I chose 4 colors. In the middle, it's always the lightest tone. In this case, very light yellow color. As it moves outwards, I chose yellow, orange, and red. So basically, the lightest color is in the middle, and as it moves out, it goes to darker colors. And for this fire, I basically, since of course our arrow is traveling to the left, I just took into consideration when it travels through the air, it will hit our fire and it will blow our fire in opposite direction, in this case to the right. So if I animate this faster and move it out a bit, you can see how it looks. You can add more frames in between. I just made 4 frames, something really basic, and that's it. And of course, when the arrow goes in one direction and the tip of the fire actually breaks apart, it goes back to its basic shape, and that's something to keep in mind when you animate fire. So maybe in future I will make fire tutorial, how to animate fire. Please leave it down in the comments if you want me to. And the last one on the list is when our fire arrow hits something, it explodes. Okay, and how I made this explosion? Again, I took the same 4 colors I made for fire arrow tip and applied the same logic for animating. In the middle, I chose the lightest tone, yellow, orange, red. And basically with explosions, you have one shape, then you expand it, it's bigger, even bigger, and when it comes to the point when you decide the explosion is big enough, it needs to break apart in cases like this. So I chose this thing, little ball, to separate it in 4 different parts, and when those 4 parts break apart, you need to animate each and every one of them separately, And if, for example, the upper right part would go, well, in upper right direction, so it would go here, the bottom left would go like here, and same goes for the other parts. And when they break apart, they become smaller until they disappear. So you can see each part becoming smaller until it's gone. And this is how it looks. To make it a bit faster, this is how it looks. So fire arrow travels, hits and explodes. Normal arrow with metal tip travels, hits, and that's it. I can even make the background the same. Wrong layer. So when it travels, hits and breaks apart. Okay, so I hope this helped you. Of course, in next video I will also do projectiles, different ones, and this will be a little bit like a small series, and probably maybe 2, maximum 3 videos more about projectiles. I won't make more of those since I do have other topics to cover. And of course, if there is something else you would like me to do, please leave it down in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Until next video, see ya later.